All right, welcome into the Breakaway podcast. Lee Desmond joins us after making your 100th club appearance on Saturday. I got some stats for you. 12th player in club history to do it, 6th on the current roster. Congrats, man. That's a big feat.
I suppose it is. Maybe when I retire and look back, it'll be something I'm proud of. But I probably should have done it longer ago, but I just had a few injuries and stuff that slowed things down. But it's weird, like especially in a sport like football where there's a game every week, don't really get to enjoy things like that. And my parents are always like, that's brilliant. I'm just like, I know, I have a match this weekend. I need to do well on that one. That's kind of the way it is when like you need to focus again every week. But yeah, it's nice to get 100 games for the club. Good achievement.
You're basically saying don't let the highs get too high, the lows get too low, a little steady. Yeah,
I think the older I've gotten, I'm so much better at that. Like, I don't know if we spoke about this because I think this is my 4th time on the podcast.
Oh, wow. I'm sure it is. It's been quite a few. You're one of my favorites to have on. We always have a good chat.
I enjoy it. Yeah.
We usually go on. I prepared us. Like, we're going at least 30 minutes today.
Yeah. No, but when I was younger, like a bad performance or a bad defeat, it would actually take me weeks to get over. Like, I probably, like, I look back. It's not really a regret. I didn't know any better, but I wish I had spoken to like sports psychologists or stuff when I was younger. Mm-hmm. And I have kind of since my mid-20s and up until now. But I think as well, it's just experience and knowing how to handle defeats and bad games, and it's going to happen. But just getting into your head that once you give 110%, like, and you prepare properly during the week, sometimes like accepting that some things are out of your control and they're going to happen. And I think I try and help like young players with things like that because it can be tough. Like there's a lot of pressure in this game from the inside and outside. And, I think speaking to a sport psychologist or senior players can really help.
Yeah. Do you, now that you're kind of the vet or one of the vets on the team, do you like share that with some of the younger guys?
Yeah, I try.
Down?
Yeah, I try. But not something I talk about all the time, but if I see somebody struggling, trying to recognize when to get on someone's case and when to put an arm around the shoulder. That's really important. And I think at times I probably do, I wouldn't say it's moaning, it's trying to like keep standards high and stuff, but I'd say I probably encourage and motivate way more than I like say get on somebody's case.
Yeah.
So it's just finding that balance and making sure that people know it's coming from the right place. It's not just giving out for the sake of it.
Yeah. I think that's one thing that's pretty interesting about being a professional is, and what I think fans or people who've never been professionals just fundamentally don't understand. We can be bummed after a loss, but like actually feeling that weight on your shoulders has got to be tough. And being able to, as you get more experience and more appearances and more games under your belt, when you do have positives, you do have negatives, and you realize they both come, and not one is the final thing, other than maybe like winning a championship. But where you have, it's a roller coaster. You have ups and downs, especially through a long season. But you have to be able to handle that and move on. In both ways. Yeah,
exactly. And it's kind of what we're going through now.
Yeah,
it's very up and down at the moment, and it's easy to like get sucked into like a real negative mindset, but I think one positive of being like a older, more experienced player is that I've been here so many times. I've been in way worse situations. I've been in situations where we've lost 4 or 5 on the bounce, and you're kind of saying, I don't think we're going to get out of this, but that is not the case now. I feel the coaching this year has been excellent, and we're all on the same page. The results haven't been happening, but if you actually look at the games back and look at the stats, like the margins are really small. Now, the only way we get out of that is by us fixing it and correcting things and working hard, but we're not as far away as it feels at times. But yeah, obviously the results have been not what we wanted, but we're also not far away from where we want to be. And I was just speaking to some of the boys this morning. Maybe the last few years we peaked too soon.
Sure.
So, once we really hit form for September, October, November, that ultimately that's what really matters.
Yeah.
Especially in America with the playoff system.
Right. And you're right. We have seen us peak in May and in June, and then at the end of the season, you can see kind of a drop off as just kind of limping into the playoffs, or last year specifically. So I guess when you're in this kind of, wouldn't say funk, but mid-season up and down, right? You have good performance, not as good performance, but no bad performances. Like that's where I keep sticking to is like, yeah, we've given up some late goals last minute, relatively unfortunate. We've had some points dropped because of kind of bad circumstance, unluck, and bad luck, I should say. So how do you guys balance that? You mentioned like staying pretty even keel. As a team, do you feel like that's important for all the guys to feel kind of at the same time?
Yeah, I don't think there's one like easy answer to that question. I mean, that's the $1 million question, I suppose. But it's just like the late goals. I think it's been 5 in the last 5 minutes we've conceded. That's like affected the result of the game, whether we drop points. I actually think that's quite easy to fix. But we need to get the opposite end of it right. We need to create more chances and score goals. But that's not just an attacker's thing, the build-up starts from us at the back. So, and just like, I don't know if you've seen the stats, but like a lot of our goals and chances created have come from the front three pressing high.
Yep.
So they've done that excellent. That's taken the pressure off myself and Danny and Jared and Chibi and Freddie. So like they've been excellent like that. So we need to help them playing forward. But just a couple of tweaks here and there. Everybody stepping up their game another 5 or 10%. And like I said, I'm not worried. I know we have a good squad, and like I said, I feel like we're all on the same page. Just the coaching this year is really spot on, and everybody understands their role a lot more. So there's a lot of reason to be positive.
Yeah. You've had a lot of pretty good moments in a Republic uniform. What's your favorite moment in the last 4 seasons?
Yeah, get asked this question a lot. For me, probably Galaxy away. One individual moment. Galaxy away was special. Just going to such a
big club.
Yeah, iconic stadium, and like they've won so many trophies and stuff. And then even for me, getting to play against Chicharito, because I'm a big Man United fan.
Yeah, so, that's special. And he basically did nothing.
No, he came on with maybe 15, 20 minutes to go.
Yeah. But it was like a panic substitution a little bit though.
Yeah. But then just to win that game and then go down to the fans. Was that our second MLS win?
Yeah, it was. We beat San Jose at home,
and then we went there.
Yep.
And then we were kind of like, geez, we can do something here. And there was just no fear, and go out and give everything, and that was fun. But there has been a few, but that was probably number one for me.
It's a good moment. I'll never forget. I think I've told this story many times. I'm sitting next to Adam Moffat, and played in the MLS, played for Republic, has pretty established career.
Yeah.
And LA Galaxy basically maintains the ball the first minute and a half, and he's like, this is a good MLS team. And I mean, seconds later we counter and score. Yeah. It was pretty funny. So
it was a great goal too.
Great goal.
Yeah.
Great goal. And just to put them on their heels. And,
but
we gave up an own goal, right? That was the equalizer.
Yeah, was it Connor from a corner?
I think so.
But like when you look back at that game, right, we sat in deep a lot in the low block, as they call it, but like gave nothing away. But then when we won it back, we actually it can be really difficult when you're defending, you win it back and you're tired and you give it away.
Yeah.
That day we didn't.
Yeah.
We actually played well in possession. I always say when we wore that black kit, we were unbelievable that year. The Nike black kit.
Yeah.
That was my favorite kit.
Yeah.
We were good, yeah.
That's good. When you came in, it was kind of a completely new roster, right? In 2022, a lot of new guys. Like, you have a lot of those guys still here. Some have left, but like, how do you think the long-term plan of the team has been playing out this season in terms of getting guys in, having this veteran group, these guys who've all played together, being able to kind of ride this wave and figure out, the ups and downs of this season so far?
Yeah, I never spoke to Todd about it, but I wonder, was his plan to kind of keep a lot of us for so long? Like just for example, the Rhode Island game last Saturday, there was myself, Danny, Jack, Nick Ross, Roro, Louise, that were all there. Like, well, Roro and Louise even before 2022. Well, Roro came back 2022.
Yeah.
But like, was the plan to have a group for that long? Because in the USL, we're all on 1 or 2 year contracts, bar a few. So like, it's probably pretty rare to have players there for that long.
Right.
But we were all kind of at that age, 27 and onwards, where people were in the peak of their careers. But sorry, what was your question? How does it help that we get out of this?
Yeah. Well, like
it's easier. It's definitely easier.
You guys have played together. You trust each other. Like, obviously, there's new pieces that are added in. Obviously, a new coach, but like, you have the belief of each other.
Yeah, of each other. But we've all had our own individual experiences of being through the big moments and the bad moments, and knowing like it passes. But you've got to do something about it. It's never panic. There's never a time to panic. Stick to what we've planned. Whatever the game plan is week to week, it doesn't change too much. We have principles that we always try and stick by. And yeah, we've been through it before, so we'll be okay. I'm not worried.
I forget when you signed here. Had you been to America before?
I was on vacation, or holidays as I call it, but...
Yeah. Wow, you've been here
4
years.
No. I was actually just going to say that because there's a lot of words that around American people I say. It's like I don't even have to think about it now.
Yeah.
But if I'm...
Back home, you're crushed.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't say it because my brain just works.
Interesting.
But I actually cringe saying that now on the podcast. Vacation. Yeah, on my holidays. But yeah, I went to Orlando for 2 weeks. But that was all.
When did you do that?
2019, just before COVID, I think it was.
Okay.
Like November, just before COVID.
The one thing that's pretty interesting is so like you come over, first experience in really living in America. You come here kind of not really knowing what to expect, and had a pretty long stretch in terms of a professional career. Like a lot of times players are bouncing around, and you've been here for what? This is year 4 basically.
Yeah.
What is it about Sacramento, this club, that has kind of made you want to put down roots here for at least the short term?
I think I enjoy going into training every single day, whether the team is but like, believe it or not, like that's not a given thing. Like you think, oh, you're playing football every day, it's great. I've been in teams that it's not that easy going in every day. I like my position in the team. I don't mean my position on the field, but like who I am and like my relationship with all the teammates and the staff and stuff like that. But then in the city, I really like how there's such a community feel, even in the club. Like there's a tightness even like with the fans and but then around the city, I like kind of like there's a community feel. It's not too big. Like I don't know if people know this, but like where I'm from is actually a much bigger city than Sacramento. Really? Dublin's a lot bigger.
Oh yeah.
But I like how it's like you can kind of get anywhere in 20 minutes and traffic's not too bad. And yeah, I know my way around now, so I don't have to use Google Maps as much.
There you go.
Yeah. No, but it's just when you spend so much time in a place, it kind of becomes a second home. Yeah.
When you signed here, you had played in what, Ireland? You played in Scotland a little bit.
No,
right?
I went to Newcastle as a teenager. I went to Newcastle United. Okay. Yeah.
So wow. I mean, I don't think I knew that.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's you and Jack probably.
No, Jack wasn't there. But
but he's a big Newcastle fan.
Oh, Jack is diehard Newcastle.
He told me the story of them winning the cup earlier this year and like how it was one of the best days of his life.
Oh, easily. But like, I'm a big Man United fan, but honestly, the Newcastle fans have never been anywhere like that, where if the team loses on the weekend, you'll feel it in the city for the whole week. Wow. It's crazy. Everyone's mood is affected by the team's result. It is like a unique place. But I was really young and I was homesick all the time. So I was injured the first year, but I was constantly like just miserable. Like I was too young. I wasn't mature enough. So then when I did come over here, like obviously it was like nearly 10 years later, but I kind of always had in my head, can I live abroad? Am I going to struggle again? But after a few days here, I knew it was going to be fun.
What are the places over in Europe that if like I know people a lot of like ask this. I went to Italy this last year. Went to a Fiorentina game. Like I would be wanting to go and explore Europe. Like what are the places you recommend
For football or?
both for sure? Because I like let's start cities and like adventure and then football. I want to ask both.
Well, there's a lot of places I want to go to that I haven't been.
Really?
Yeah, like
everything's just a little bit closer though.
Yeah, it is. And then like there's no borders really because we're all in the EU.
Right.
Like I could go and just like live in Spain tomorrow if I wanted, and I wouldn't have to like get a visa or anything like that.
Right.
Best cities that I've been to, Athens was really good.
I bet.
Where else? Amsterdam,
Mm-hmm.
Berlin and Munich. I like those, but I want to go to like Barcelona, Lisbon. They look nice.
Man, so you haven't done a ton of traveling then?
I have, but a lot of it was like Southeast Asia.
Oh.
Yeah.
And where have you been there?
Oh, everywhere, Connor.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, what was your favorite?
I would say like for scenery and stuff was the Philippines.
Yeah.
But then like Singapore was like so modern and like built up.
Yeah.
I liked Singapore. Thailand was like really good fun. Vietnam, been everywhere.
Wow.
But, yeah. Me and my girlfriend, we always go there as much as we can in the off season. We'll do a few weeks somewhere part of the world.
Different country over in the Southeast Asia?
Yeah, as much as we can.
Wow. Okay, good to know. All right, now football. What would be the places? I want to go to a Dortmund game. I
brought my dad.
Did you?
Yeah, I brought my dad again just before COVID. We went to Dortmund and Inter Milan we didn't want to sit in the yellow wall.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to see it, so we sat the opposite end, and it was unbelievable. The atmosphere. Probably if I had one stadium that I wanted to play in the world, it would be
that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the one I'd want to see.
Yeah.
Too. What are some of the other top ones?
The atmosphere in Newcastle is special.
Yeah.
But for me, Old Trafford is special.
Yeah.
Where else?
Like any like underrated ones where you're like, not underrated, I should say, but like underrated.
Yeah.
People wouldn't expect it to be an awesome atmosphere or a good time.
That I've been to.
You went and you were like, I don't know, I wasn't expecting as much as it was.
Oh, well, not football. We were in Munich for a few days and we were like walking around the old Olympic village and like a lot of people were walking into this building and we were like, what's going on in there? And we went in and they're called Red Bull Munich or something. Munich Red Bulls ice hockey.
Oh yeah.
Best atmosphere of any sport I've ever been at. And we just kind of stumbled upon it by accident.
Ice hockey's awesome live.
Yeah, is it like that in America and Canada? The atmosphere, like this was, they never stopped singing for the whole game. Not one.
Not really singing, I would say. So not like that. I would just say because it's so fast.
Yeah.
And everybody's, they're subbing constantly. So everybody's psyched. There's fist fights going on the ice, even in America.
Yeah.
But I don't think I think the singing is more of like a European thing.
Right.
Not a ton of it done. Soccer, obviously, now in America has more of it, but like you don't really see it as much in other sports, like during games. You see it at times, like if Sweet Caroline plays at a college football game, they'll sing it, but like not throughout the game. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we have a huge stadium in Dublin called Croke Park, but it's our national sport. Like it's not for football or rugby; it's for GAA, which is like our national sport. It's two sports. One is hurling and one is Gaelic football.
I remember, I did a whole thing on Gaelic football.
Oh, did you?
Remind me. No, I remember talking to, I think, Dan about it.
Dan Casey.
Yeah.
He just signed for Wycombe Wanderers.
Did he?
It's a good move.
Good for him.
League One, like it's near London. Nice place to live.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Wow, that's good. I know he was, because he went back home after leaving here. Did he leave in 22?
He left at the end of 22 and he went to Motherwell in Scotland and he done really well, and now he's got another move to England.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him. One of the things I always think is interesting about when people stay here in Sacramento, like I remember talking to people just like the heat in Sacramento can affect you. Does that like not bother you as much anymore?
Not anymore. Like, don't get me wrong, everyone still feels it.
Sure.
But it used to affect me a lot more. But I don't know. I don't know, have I changed a few things in my preparation? Like the electrolytes I'm using are eating a little bit less. Or like you think you're hydrated, but like you actually need to drink even more water. And you're like, how is that possible? I'm drinking water nonstop all day. But you need to do it because you'll feel it on the weekend if you don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I've actually been saying a lot lately. I feel like this year I've finally like got to a stage where it's not like draining me really bad.
Yeah.
But we've been lucky this year as well. And
yeah, we haven't had that bad a heat yet.
I was saying that to
We had
Dom.
we had one game that was pretty hot at home.
Did we? And the 8 p.m. kickoffs now help.
Yeah.
But I was saying to Dom and LJ, I was like, boys, you've no idea. But it hasn't come in yet.
Yeah. I know. I was talking to those guys too about it, and they were like, "Yeah, it hasn't been that hot yet, so let's wait." But you mentioned terms and words that you're using that are American. What other ones are those that you've brought into your
soccer?
Yeah. Sorry,
guys. Yeah.
Instead of mates.
Lads, mates. Yeah. The boys. Yeah. What else is there? There's a lot, but now you put me on the spot. I'm trying to think. Highway.
Instead of what?
Motorway, probably.
Okay.
Yeah, vacation's a big one. Or the turf. We'd call it Astro. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. But
isn't AstroTurf fake?
Yeah, but that's what, like in CRC, if it's raining, that's our training ground.
Yeah.
If it's raining, we have to go on the turf, which is the Astro.
I see.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or no one really says it in the club, but cleats. But like the American guys say boots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cleats is not a thing. I don't.
Is it not?
Not in soccer. I think it's in football. It is fully boots. I think even over here, like I think that's said and done.
I've never said the word soda, but like that's one that we'd call like fizzy drinks.
Fizzy.
Yeah. It's funny, isn't it, when you say it like that? But yeah, there's a lot of words. So
when when you go back home, you just immediately, you don't even have to worry about it?
Oh, when I go home and I'm with my girlfriend, I wouldn't say those words. Or like sometimes it comes out, she might say something or I'll say something and I'll be like, hey, don't forget where you came from. Yeah. Can't be too Americanized, right? Yeah.
But that's what's crazy. I think back to certain people who like lose their accents. I make fun of Moffat for this. Like you can occasionally hear the Scottish like dial turn up more for him. But like someone like Pastor Briggsy, has lost none of it.
No,
it's just, he's the hardest person to understand because he talks so fast.
Yeah.
It's like, pretty wild to see like the difference of people, their accents changing over time.
Yeah, no, Briggsy, like the odd word will leak out, and you're like, oh well, you have been living here for 20 years, I suppose. But yeah, in general, he's got a really thick Scottish accent.
Yeah. I know, compared to like Neil, who's not been here as long as he has less thick.
Yeah, but I don't even think that's just Neil's accent. He was probably like that back home.
Right.
Yeah.
True.
But Briggsy spent a long time in Ireland.
Right.
He worked in Ireland for years, but he doesn't have any Irish accent.
Yeah.
Nick Ross, Jack, they haven't lost anything.
Yeah. I understand. I think Jack's lost it a little bit.
You think so?
I think so. I don't know if he'd be offended I said that, but
yeah.
Great.
Well, we were speaking about certain words, but also when I'm around Irish people, my accent will go back. Yeah.
Interesting.
But I think I'd probably change it a little bit because otherwise people just keep saying, sorry, what did you say? Can you repeat that? So I'd probably try to speak clearer.
That's fair.
Yeah. I
do think as you get here, you can understand. Like I remember when LJ was on first time, he was going. And I was like, I'm having even Neil first time, just because you haven't talked to him that much yet, so you don't quite understand their cadence and how they say things. But
he's from like the middle of Glasgow, which is known for having like a strong accent. Right. Where Nick Ross is from up north, Inverness, where nobody has such a strong accent like that.
Right.
So,
yeah. Nick Ross and I, in one of the podcasts, we got into like Scottish politics at one point. about like Scotland being part of the UK and
Yeah.
anyway, it was very interesting. It made me do some Google searching afterwards.
Yeah.
All right, we had somebody, I'm not gonna tell you who, send in some questions from the team. You need to guess. Well, you can answer the questions, then you have to guess who asked the questions. All right. Pick 2 5-a-side teams. One that's only players you've played with, and one that's only players you've played against. That's a tall task.
Right. So a goalkeeper that I've played with, best keeper I've played with, I'd probably say Vidislav Jaros. He just left Liverpool like 2 weeks ago. He signed for Ajax.
Oh, okay.
He gave me this big scar.
Oh, tell us that story.
He was on loan from Liverpool at my last club in Ireland, St. Pat's, and it's like the last minute of the game, and kind of like ball chipped over me, bounced up in the air. He's coming out, I'm running back to clear it, and we clashed heads, and I had it was bad.
Yeah.
I had like a seizure. I was out cold for a few minutes.
Whoa.
They didn't know.
Yeah.
It was bad. So I missed like 6 weeks with that, but he gave me free tickets for Anfield, so we're all good. But yeah, he's probably the best keeper I've played with. And then I'll pick a defender. I'll go one defender, best defender I've played with. Played a lot of good ones back home. Oh, that's tough. Probably a guy called Kenny Brown. When I was like a young player at St. Pat's, he was like a senior pro, and like just so composed, big guy, aggressive, quick, and he was like at the end of his career too. I just thought he was like a top centre back for me to learn off. So I'll put him in, and then I'll go 2 midfielders and a striker. Roro, definitely.
Wow.
Like, obviously his ability is unbelievable, but like he just turns up at the right moments time and time again.
I know.
Like when the team is kind of struggling, like even last week in Rhode Island, like we hadn't scored in like 3 games or whatever it was. Just like lost against Birmingham a few days before, he gets put in the team, boom, free kick, top corner. Like he does things like that a lot when the team needs him.
Yeah.
Because there's different ways of being a leader, but like some people are vocal, like some people, like it's how they train every day, and like he does all that too. But I haven't played with anyone who turns up when you need them all the time like that. So him.
I don't think he's ever. Sorry, not to interrupt.
Go ahead.
I don't think he's ever in a big game never been not great.
Yeah.
Like even definitely with the club, but like
Yeah.
not one big game has like he's always showed up for big games.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive.
It's crazy. Chris Forrester, guy I played with back home, like technically next level, like unbelievable. He's a legend at the club I played for back home, St. Pat's. He's still playing now, but like some of the stuff he done, you're like what? Yeah, and he scored some huge goals for us as well back home. And then probably have to go for a striker. The best striker I've played with, that's a tough one. That's a really tough one. I actually don't know if I'll put a striker in. Might have to put like another midfielder. You know who was very good? Colorado Springs head coach now, James Chambers. I played with him for a year and he was excellent. Yeah, just like completely full range of passing, like physically really strong, really fit, like good leader on the pitch. I go on, I'll put James in. James Chambers.
That's good. I'm curious, like you talk about guys playing at various levels, getting loaned down. Like I've always wondered this, and I don't know if there's a perfect understanding, but like if you take USL or Republic as a team, put them in one of the tiers in, let's say in the UK, where do you think, what league do you think they would fit the best in? Is that a hard question to ask? Like what would be the most compared in terms of
the USL Championship?
Yeah. Like the level of competition.
Yeah. Because there's so many teams in the USL as well.
Right.
But in general, the league.
Like I'd say the top tier, top 6 teams, the teams that are typically near the top of the table every year.
Yeah, in the UK, where would they go?
Yeah. Where? Like what league do you think they would be in?
I would say the lower end of League One or the top end of League Two. So that's the third tier and the fourth tier of English football, I would say.
Okay.
But I've never played that level myself, so I don't really know.
Okay.
But at a guess, I would say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. I just was curious.
Yeah.
All right. Whose diet would you prefer to have, Dave Redmond's or Keko's?
Oh, Dave is like serious amount of calories. For like, I know he's a busy man. He works out every day. He has 2 kids. He's like constantly running around in the training ground. Like never sits down. He is a workhorse, to be fair to him. But like, Dave just thinks, sorry, Dave. Dave just thinks I've hit my calories. I'm like, but Dave, you're eating a crazy amount of sugar. And he's like, yeah, but I got my protein and my calories. I'm like, on the long run, that's not going to last. So I'd probably go Keko.
Okay.
Yeah. And who asked that question? Can I guess?
Well, they all were asked by the same person.
Nick Ross.
Nick Ross, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, he asked a couple more. If you could be someone from the team for one day, who would it be? Good question, Nick Ross.
That's a great question.
Nick Ross, host the podcast when I'm out.
Anyone from the team for one day?
I feel like that's a tough question.
It is a tough question, but there's probably a really good answer if I think about it.
It would probably be someone with a different skill set as you, right?
I was thinking more like, I wasn't thinking that way. I was thinking like outside life, but yeah.
Oh, you're thinking not.
Oh, if I could be
football?
a different player. Oh, Christian Pirano. I'd love to be able to just like shimmy away from people like that.
He's unbelievable.
Yeah,
it's a good one.
He's funny as well. I'd say he might be the funniest on the team. I have a really good relationship with Christian.
So we had him on, and he was like, "I'm gonna try my best to do it in English."
Yeah.
And we did it, and it was very funny.
He's close to fluent.
He was pretty good. I was like, "Dude, you're doing great. Keep going. You got this."
Yeah.
I know it's good. All right. If I made a recipe with a sauce, I don't know if you knew that we weren't supposed to know who this person is, but we already gave it away. So, if I made a recipe with a sauce, random vegetables, and big chunks of meat, what would it be called?
I couldn't put a name on it. That's my answer. Nick will know what I mean.
Yeah. We just talked about that inside jokes.
It's an inside joke. I actually can't explain it because I'll be putting myself and Nick in trouble.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the answer to that is I couldn't put a name on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Inside jokes, not great for the podcast.
No, it's not good for the listeners.
Come on, Nick.
I know.
I take back what I said about hosting. Okay, well, I wanted to ask, those are all the things I had written down. Actually, most of that stuff I didn't have written down, but that's kind of how it goes. I want to understand too a little bit of like where you kind of your career and where you see yourself going like after you finish playing. Like what are the types of things that you want to stay in football?
Yeah.
I just was curious of you just seem like a guy who's really good head on his shoulders, super good dude. Like what is the thing that you would want to do after you hang him up?
I think the idea of just retiring one day and not being involved in football is terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I only had this conversation with Russell Cicerone last week, and he was like Russell's the most competitive guy I've ever played with, and like he's like, what do I do when I retire? Where do I put that energy? You know, and that's scary when you've had that for like 15 to 20 years, and then it just stops one day. I mean, you hear terrible stories of players, you know, like their marriages break down and they get depression and they just lose their self of who they are. Sense of who they are, and I don't want to be in that place. I'd like to go into coaching. I'd like to ideally like phase out my career where like maybe drop down the levels as it happens instead of just like cutting it off one day completely. But like not everybody's that lucky. Some people, you know, they have to go into a job to earn money, or like an injury might do it, but that would be the ideal situation. Coaching would be nice, but like I'm really interested in sports psychology as well. So I've done the first year of my degree.
Really?
So I'm going to start the second year in October online. So because I played in Newcastle, like I'm a member of the Players Football Association for life, and they have really good college courses available where they like offer grants for players and stuff like that. So I can do an online course. I've done the first year of psychology. I'm going to start the second in October. But I want to get my coaching badges too. And like I do some coaching now, but like if I wanted to take it more seriously for when I retire from playing, I'd need to get my badges. But that's something I'm interested in, for sure.
What like you mentioned just having to like turn off that competitiveness spirit, and I'm sure you can, as a coach, you would still be able to get into that. But like, what is it? And I hadn't like heard that being talked about, like being scary, like you, which I totally understand. But you're right, like phasing it out does seem like the better way to do it. What are the things about the game that you think you would miss the most?
A lot of people say like the locker room banter that you have every day. Locker room, there's another one. I wouldn't call it a locker room.
What would you call it?
Changing room.
Right.
I can't believe I said that.
Probably. You say a changing room, I'm assuming you're like in a Kohl's or something.
Yeah. But the routine every day, like sometimes it can be a pain. Like your diet has to be spot on. Like you have to do extra recovery. Like it's not like you get home from training and you're done for the day. You're like living your life a certain way. Can't just go for a meal and eat this food, or go for a beer, or stay up late. It's kind of a 24/7 job, and that it can be a burden, but you'll miss it when it stops. And you even get that in the off season. It's fun for the first few weeks where it's like freedom. I can do what I want, but then you're like, oh, I missed the routine and the pressure. The pressure is a bit like a drug. Like sometimes it's too much, but then when you're standing there, like, are you ready to leave the locker room on a Saturday? Like, it's actually like a great feeling that like I had a manager back home. I always tell this story, but I had a manager back home and we were lining up for a penalty shootout in the quarterfinals of the cup. People are probably nervous, like shooting into the away end with all the fans. And he just said, boys, when you retire, you'll never get this feeling again. So walk up, you feel like a rock star. Everybody's watching you. It's not pressure. It's an amazing feeling.
Wow.
And it's just changing that
mindset instead of being scary. Changing
your perception of it.
Yeah.
One day you'll never get this feeling again. So like, yeah, the pressure can be tough or it can be amazing. It's just how you look at it.
Wow.
There's your bit of psychology I was talking about.
Oh, I love that. That's good, man. Wait, so I'm curious too about, as a player, you're traveling a ton.
Yeah.
Is that something you, as a coach, like you're gonna still want to do that, or would you be more wanting to kind of put down roots in one place?
Like even the traveling now as a player, like my first couple of years, it was so exciting getting to see new cities. Yeah. That novelty is kind of worn off because we're just kind of stuck in hotels a lot of the time.
It's not as glamorous, I think, as you
not
would think.
At all. Like most of our trips are 2 flights the day before a game. You're changing time zones. You're trying to like make sure your body's good. You're eating hotel food that's not the best, to be honest, but don't complain about it. There's nothing you can do. It is what it is. Like Luke Rayfield and Dave Redmond and everyone in the club, they're trying, Andre too, they're trying to do their best to make sure we're ready to go on a Saturday. It's not ideal getting Southwest flights and 10-hour travel days, but it is what it is. And we've actually been really good on the road, so there's no point to complaining about it. But yeah, the novelty of like getting to see all these new places, that's kind of gone. Do I want to do it when I'm older? Yeah, it probably will be different when I have kids and stuff like that. But when you love the game and you're in that job, that's just part of it. Yeah.
Where were you? What position were you in the 2022 Open Cup? Where were you in the PKs? What number?
Was I like 8th or 9th? I was bad that night, Connor. I couldn't move.
Oh, that's right.
Look at the picture. We're standing on the halfway line. We're standing on the halfway line.
You're up
linked.
on your
I'm standing on 1 foot. I couldn't move. Like, I didn't actually enjoy that night. Even the celebrations. I was just like, get me off the pitch. And then like you're putting on a smile for the pictures, and it's actually a picture behind you there. Yeah. But like,
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to see.
I'm back row. You can see my head there beside Cappy to your right.
Oh yeah, right here.
That white skinned guy. Yeah, and then even Orlando, didn't enjoy it. The 2 days before, I was just on the treatment table the whole time, trying to like get it so I could get out onto the pitch. It wasn't really about performing well. But yeah, glad that's all behind me anyway. But I think I was 8th or 9th. I'm glad I didn't take one. Yeah, I just wasn't in the right mindset or physically in any shape to take that.
What about now with Jaeger Cup? I'm sure every game you guys kind of know. Is it the center back? I asked Jared about this.
We didn't know. Like for Saturday, obviously we conceded a late goal. But like as the time was coming up, I was saying to myself, I'm gonna put my name forward. I've never done it before in my career, but I was saying I'm gonna take one tonight.
I like it.
But unfortunately, it didn't come to that, as we all know.
Well, Timmer said last week that he's like never won.
Curse.
Yeah, he's got a PK curse.
Yeah.
So
did he mention Las Vegas last year in the playoffs?
Yeah. What did he say?
He came off like 2 minutes before because he just thinks like he has this curse.
I know.
So Shane came on. Was it Shane?
Yeah, I think it was.
Shane came on with 2 minutes to go. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like he really believes that.
Yeah, I told him we got to break it. You got to sports psychology the mindset back in. Like it's just bad luck.
Yeah, and I suppose he was on the field on Saturday. It would have been a good one to break it because it wasn't like an elimination game or a cup final.
It's exactly what we said last week.
Yeah.
No, not as much pressure.
Yeah.
There's still some pressure. Of
course.
This next round or this next match will probably have some pressure.
Yeah.
If it gets to that. But yeah. All right. Last thing before you go, have the guest bring a question for me. This is your fourth time. I think. Is that right? I feel like it's been more than that. To be honest with you.
I think
you counted them.
Well, no. I think we only do one a year. So I remember in the old office in 2022, we must have done it 23 as well. In the old office, and then last year was with Nick Ross here.
Well, we did one with Connor too.
That must have been 23, because the first year was just me and you, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, 4 times. All right, we'll do some research.
Yeah.
I don't even know. We had, I think we're over like 350 episodes now.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. I can't remember any of them hardly.
I was gonna say, was there any standout episodes?
Zico brought hot sauce.
Oh.
Out of nowhere, didn't warn me. No prep, didn't have milk, none of that. Because he saw that we did.
What did you eat it with, or did you put it on anything?
We weren't even prepared at all. I forget what we put it on, but it was hot. Because the year before you got here, I did the hot chip challenge with Shannon Gomez and Jaime Villarreal, who were on the team that year. He somehow saw that, or I was talking to him about it, and he brought it. Again, didn't tell me. So that was fun. That was memorable. I don't know. We've had a lot of just good conversations. We did Matt LaGrassa and Jack Gurr together. That was fun, just because. And we basically intentionally were like, we're not talking about anything serious. We're just gonna just shoot.
Matt was funny.
Matt's a funny guy.
Yeah.
I think that's. Briggs and I did 2 hours at the end of the season after the 22 season.
I actually remember I listened to some of that. Yeah.
Because he's like, I've never been able to like actually talk and go through them, like my decisions throughout it. So we went 2 hours. That was crazy.
That's what I mean when I was saying earlier. You're just on to the next thing. So like you never get a chance to actually talk about these special moments.
Well, I watched the recap. Actually, I went back and watched the semifinal PKs because I was trying to remember the order and I had it messed up in my head and I was like, I got to go watch it again. So I watched it and forgot like how insane. That's what I remember about that game is
Todd running onto the pitch. That was so funny.
Well, I just remember people were celebrating like for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Just constant.
Yeah.
Yelling, screaming, noise. Like, when a goal is scored, right? Place goes nuts for 2 minutes, and then we'll get back into play. But like, it was like 10 minutes nonstop of just chaos. And I'm bummed that, you were in so much pain. Like you couldn't really enjoy it, man.
No, I couldn't enjoy it, but I was just happy that we got to the final.
Yeah, it's pretty unbelievable. Still unbelievable.
Yeah. No, special. But like, you kind of like, well, that was my first year here. You kind of think, that's just how it is. No, that's not. It's like
so hard.
Most USL clubs don't have 11,000 people going to their games.
Right.
Like those moments are special, but it makes you hungry to want more of that. So it's always in the back of your mind. Like if we start doing well, we can get nights like that again.
Right. And we got the Jaeger Cup now. Like there's opportunities for more. Yeah. No, it'll be good. I agree with you. But yeah, I think those are all the main big podcasts we did. We did when I joked with Todd this last offseason before we hired Neil that I did put my name in the mix
for the head coach.
As a bit, it was a joke.
I think Rodrigo, the kit man, is going for Todd's general manager job. Yeah.
He's doing good in MLS fantasy too. By the way.
Is he?
Yeah.
No, he says like he tries to. what's the word, like when you talk something into existence?
I don't
What's
know.
the word I'm trying to think of?
I know what you're
Anyway,
talking about. Speaks it into existence. I don't know.
Yeah,
That's a
there
phrase.
is a word for it, but it's on the tip of my tongue. But Rodri's like, yeah, no, eventually I'm gonna be the general manager. I'm like, wow. He's funny, Rodri. Everybody loves him. I feel like at every club you love the kit man.
Yeah.
Because they're like part of the coaching staff, but they're not making decisions whether you're gonna play on the weekend or getting your case for doing something wrong. So like, you have it's same with the physios, like with Katie and Dave. Like, everyone has a great relationship with them.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, no, that was we did that. That was a good episode. But yeah, I don't know, man. We've had a lot of good ones. I honestly don't remember them like a month ago. Someone would be like, "Oh, remember we talked about this?" And I'm like,
yeah,
I don't know what it is.
Get Rodrigo on.
I know.
That would be good.
We've talked about getting Dave and Rodrigo together.
I think they room together.
I think they do too.
Yeah. Oh, that would be good.
Yeah, I feel like that would be the most listened to one with by the players.
Yeah, it would by the players 100%.
Yeah.
45
minutes in.
Oh, that was quick.
I know.
Jeez.
It flew by. We used to not have a timer, and we'd not know how far we were in. But now we have a timer. Thanks for coming, man. Good to see you.
Right.
Congrats on the 100 club appearances, man. Many more to come, and good luck Friday, and hopefully you guys get to celebrate in Vegas this weekend. Great game. Not that there's anything going to happen after the game, but it's a great place to have a Friday night game is Vegas. I'm just going to say that.
4th of July, Connor.
I know.
Whew. Nah, I'm joking. We need to win. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we've had good success against them, but they have a new head coach. They're going to be hungry after two bad defeats against us.
Yeah.
But from our point of view, we've had a bad defeat, so we're hungry to put things right. So that's obviously the priority, and then if we get a win, we might do something afterwards.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Get the win first. Figure the rest out.
Always.
All right, Lee Desmond, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Connor.